whole nother level, but still keep it ghetto. Whole nother level, but still keep it ghetto.
Welcome to episode 30 of The Process of Hip Hop. I'm Brian Joseph, writer, blogger at theprocessofhiphop.com, and as always, it's all about the process. In today's interview segment, I'll be interviewing Jamaican Tony. Jamaican Tony is an MC from Atlanta, Georgia. So let's get into it.
Okay, I'd like to welcome to the Process of Hip Hop, all the way from the ATL, Georgia, Jamaican Tony. What's going on, man?
What's going on, my brother?
Hey, man, everything's everything. So pleased for you to join the podcast, man. I wanted to start with, tell me about your background, man, how you got started, how you got interested in being an MC.
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure, bro. I appreciate you for having me. How I got started as an MC, you know, I grew up in a Jamaican household and in New York City, and I moved to Miami as a teenager, and my dad, he was a DJ. So music has always been around me since I was a child, from my uncles and everybody around me. Like, music is, you know, reggae music and hip hop has always been something that's always been around me. So I think about the age of, I want to say 7, 8, I started writing raps, and I've never stopped.
Yeah. You know, and you said something, you grew up in a Jamaican household. A lot of hip-hop heads, you'd be surprised, don't realize that hip-hop originated in Jamaica.
This is very true.
You know, it originated in Jamaica. It was a Jamaican art form.
Chatting back in the days on old Rocksteady and old tunes.
Yes.
Back in the day, that sparked hip-hop.
Yes.
Like, a lot of people don't even know that a lot of big Jamaican songs were recorded right in Brooklyn.
Yes. Absolutely. So so you growing up in a Jamaican household and being around music, to kind of because people don't know that, talk to me about the influences of Jamaican music on your style as an MC.
Well, let's see. Growing up, I listened to a lot of Jamaican music, even though I listened to hip hop a lot as well growing up. But it influenced me in the way of speaking to people. Like, yard music talks to people in a different way. Like, Jamaican music makes people feel vibes, make people dance, make people, people feel emotion. Like, when you hear Sizzler, Dry Cry, even, like, people, like, you know what I mean? Like, when you hear Bob say certain things, like, even right now, they're using Bob's song right now to Until the Philosophy. He been said this.
Yeah.
So these vibes have always influenced me through the years, and being that I've always been a follower of music, not just an artist, it influenced me on how I create my music and what I give to people, and I take very consideration into that. You know what I mean? I like my music to make people feel emotion, and that's what yard music does. Like Jamaican music makes people feel emotion.
Yes.
And that's what I give to my music through that.
And Bob Marley, obviously being, you know, you're the musical. He's not a Jamaican icon. He's a music icon, and one of the greatest of all time. But your early hip hop titans, Kool Herc, African Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash, you know, all have West Indian roots.
Yeah.
And brought that to New York. Yeah, absolutely. And so you said you were at 7 or 8, you started writing rhymes. Now, what was the point in time where you felt that, okay, I'm a kid writing rhymes, but there was a point in time where you felt that I'm going to actually take this seriously and pursue hip hop?
A career.
What was that? Tell me about that point in time.
That point in time came when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I started a rap group my partner Chris called the Overlordian, and we started. That's the time I started recording music and said that we were listening to the Wu-Tang era and all that. We were listening to Nas, and these are our influences. And we at that point in time, I made a group with me and him, and we started recording music with the instrumentals that we had and making tapes. And you feel me?
Yes.
And said that this is what I'm going to do when I was in Miami. And I never stopped from there. I always felt what Nas said on Illmatic, with or without a record deal, I still be doing it.
And that's interesting also because the origins of hip hop were never really about a record deal. That's strange to hear that now because hip hop is $1 billion industry, but there was a point in time where that wasn't about making a record deal. It's the African American, making music combined with the African American oral tradition. It was and hip hop MCs, the early MCs and your DJs, they were really interested in obviously given you said this and I'll definitely co-sign on this. They wanted people to feel good about the music. They wanted people to have a good time. But there was also a message that was intended to give people an outlet to talk about what's going on in their community. We're dealing in an environment right now where social justice reform is obviously a hot button topic, and that was always something that hip hop artists talked about. You go back to Grandmaster Flash and The Message.
No doubt.
They were talking about these things.
Yeah.
And
early.
Yeah, and we're talking about almost 40 years ago. Mm-hmm.
I do this and it's like, I'm on parole now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like social injustice, the things that I deal with, things that I've seen in my life. As an artist now, I came home, it's been a year this month since I came home.
Yeah.
And I've built so much since I've been home.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to be incarcerated and to be locked down and then having to rebuild yourself.
Yes.
This world is crazy. There's a lot of things going on in this world. And, I got a video out right now called Reach for the Sky. It's a song I wrote while I was in prison, and it's crazy. It's saying everything that's going on now. I just did the videos up right now on YouTube.
Yes.
But social injustice is something that's been going on for years. It's been in our face. It's been around us. And it's overboiled to the point where change has to come.
Now, you talked about time, being incarcerated, but prior to that, what was the inspiration for the content of your raps? What did you use?
Say it again?
What was the inspiration for your content? Because I've talked to, many artists, okay, and a lot of them will talk about, well, this was an inspiration for my content. I was going through a particular situation, or some other artists say, no, this was the reason, I developed a song. What was the inspiration for the content behind your music?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, my life, I've been through a lot and seen a lot since the Most High put me on this earth. But I can say a lot of the strength of my music comes from my mother.
Yes.
I lost my mother very tragically when I was 23. And my mother was a very big influence through my life. My grandmother adopted me at 3, and I didn't live with my mother again until I was 15. But she was one of the greatest people in my life, mm-hmm, and my best friend. And she always told me, she appreciated my music and the things how my mind was, and she always told me, keep working and your dreams will always come true. These are things that my mother told me. Yes. So even through all the street stuff and everything I've been through, even before my mother died, I was in the street, I did things. My mother dying didn't make me, my mother died and now I feel, nah. My mother knew who I was before she died.
Yeah.
She told me I was in the streets. I did things I wasn't supposed to, and I thank God for saving me. But these things influence what I say in music, and she was a great part of that. You know, she always wanted me to be great. She always wanted me to do great things. So in my music, I speak great things. I speak greatness. I try to not just be in the, all right, this is what's going on in hip hop. I'm gonna give you something else. Like, I speak from like great artists like great artists like Jay, DMX, Nas. They'll tell you, Tupac, God bless his dead. They'll tell you, once you got them, you can tell them what you want to tell them.
Right.
So making this music, I know that I have a job to do. Like, I have a message. Like, from what I know, from what my mom instilled in me, from what this world instilled in me, the things that I've been through, I have a message to give to people. But you know, nowadays you can't come to brothers with the preach. You can't just come like him. But if you make music they love listening to and they fuck with you,
yeah,
they fuck with you. So once they fuck with you, you know what Jay said? My couple people like to hear me talk like this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but they fuck with you. So you can say what you want because now you done made it this far. You done made them listen to you. So now you can give them something. You know what I mean? That's like, that's where I'm at with it. Like, I want my music to resonate. Like, I want everything I do to resonate, to make things better, to make anything greater, to influence somebody to say, you know what, man, this shit made me just feel great right now.
And hip hop has that power because it's inspirational. You know, you talk about Jay-Z. I remember in his book Decoded, he talks about how he has, you know, CEOs and those that are successful in the business game, not even anything related to hip hop, how they listen to hip hop to inspire them to do great things in their own arena. So, you know, hip hop has that universal appeal. But let me make so I make sure I ask you though, what was that first? You know, you talked about high school being kind of the launching point, but what was the first project that was received by others where you felt like you were actually doing something, you were making progress? What was that first project that you did?
The first project I did was Hustle Hard and Live Well, a DJ demo. One of the first mixtapes I put out in Miami where I actually, like, I put this project together, right? And I put it out and people responded to it, you know, in the neighborhood I was in Miami, and I started printing CDs and, you know, doing my thing, and it sparked something, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And shortly after that, I started a group with my partner Kay, and we started making music, and that's when I was around Puff, and that really sparked people. Tony and K project was big in Miami. Like, if like niggas in the street, a lot of dudes in the street tell you, like, I got a hit on BMW. My partner said, "Boy, I got a Tony K CD right now."
Yeah.
But, you know, back then, you know, the internet, all that, we weren't big influencers. We were big in the hood. You know what I mean? Like, our music was different. We weren't rapping like everybody from Miami. You know what I mean? Ross, big up Ross, you know what I'm saying? He always showed me love. I known him since he was 19, and we always been around each other for quite some time in Miami. And he used to tell me, like, bro, why ain't, like, a lot of this stuff I wouldn't put out. Like, I had big music. I'd be in Studio Center, Circle House, and I had big music, but it was, you know, I was in the street, so it was like music, you know what I mean? Even though I had big music, I wouldn't put it out, but back then, that spark, when I did them first two projects and people really got a whiff of it, it gave me the momentum to say, damn, you really got something to say, and people really feel what you're doing and they fucking with you, you know what I mean?
Right. Was that, and so when that happened, do you feel like for you that gave you affirmation that I can actually pursue this industry?
Really, I'm gonna be honest with you. That didn't have to give me affirmation. You know what gave me affirmation is that I would succeed in this industry. I never forget the day I got into it with my mother, God bless her, and she went through my room, and you go through, stuff with your parents.
Yeah.
And she read my notebooks, right? And she said, I will never bother you again about what you do with your music. You're great. She read my stuff. And that's when I knew. So everything after that, I really need affirmation to a certain extent, but building projects and learning how to maneuver through the industry was something that I had to learn. But having that vision that I would always make it or be something great in this industry was something that I always had.
And the industry rewards hard work and dedication and commitment. I know it's not always talked about, but when you do the research on artists and you find those that were willing to do what others won't or do what others wouldn't, and they worked hard and they grinded and they were, willing to, maybe perform at venues that weren't the best or perform, here or jump on a song or just whatever it took. They did what it took, to become great. And then I also think that, it's not a coincidence that, you have some prolific writers in hip hop history, and the late great Tupac, but even obviously artists such as a Jay, a Nas, a Biggie. These were all artists that were very prolific in their own way, but they were also hard workers and they were also dedicated, and I think that sometimes is not always appreciated in hip hop because we have an instant gratification society where we want success right now, but we don't want to always put in the work. And so when you look at individuals that did years worth of, various things, even if it was working other jobs just to realize their dream, I think more upcoming artists need to hear that story, that you have to be willing to work. Hip hop is a craft. It's not something that you just develop overnight. You have to be in love with it.
The problem is that right now with the internet, it's a gift and a curse. Because, it gives us a broad platform, but also gave any Joe Schmo that feel like he can rap on a beat and do whatever and put it out, and hey, I'm going to give it to the world. You feel me?
Yes, absolutely.
And regardless of what people resonate to, that's what they resonate to. I don't hate on nobody. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're getting money, you're getting money. I can't hate on you, whether you making the best rap songs in the world, you're giving gibberish and you're making a bag. Hey, I can't be mad at you. You know what I mean? It is what the world is right now. But for me, as being an artist, I try to feed the masses. And at the end of the day, if you're meant to make it and you're meant to make great music, it's gonna happen. The people gonna mess with you because. Me and you both know there's plenty of rappers out here who's not speaking gibberish and making a bag.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Big up Chance the Rapper.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
So you have to understand them things and I don't know, I want to give people something they can feel and something that'll last. You know what I mean? I think that's what's been taken away from the industry, that, you could just put out a song and it's a song and, it ain't too much of a message or anything. You can just make whatever you want. And it's cool to be free spirited. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but there comes a time when, and I feel it now. This is what's going on now. Like the guard is being handed over in a certain way, and even in music in the world, people don't realize it. People don't want to hear no fuckery no more because the world is not no fuckery no more. Shit getting real. Shit burning down it's wild right now. You know what I'm saying? The world is changing. People are not feeling what's going on. So they need that food of music because music has been healing. That's why when you see the revolt, when I saw the footage when people in front of the United Nations playing Bob Marley until the philosophy and all that, these times are needed right now.
Right.
So music is going to change as well because unless you're saying something that people can relate to because this is what's going on, people get tired of hearing fuckers because look here, you know what? Pot in the club right now is not what's going on right now. You see me? Even though we want to feel good. I'm have music that make people feel good, but you know what? People want to hear something that make them feel something about what's going on right now.
Right.
And that changes hip-hop. Hip-hop has always been the news to the street. That's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When back in the days of KRS-One and Slick Rick, and they told stories, they told you stuff you needed to hear.
And it always had that combination, you know, KRS and Slick Rick are two good examples of you were bobbing your head because they were spitting fire, but then you were also, you know, you're saying, wow, these guys are telling the truth. You know, these guys are telling the truth about certain topics, even though this is, you know, it's like kind of like that's what makes a song the jam. You know, when you're thinking about like a My Philosophy by, you know, the BDP, shout out to KRS-One, Scholar Rock. It's like, hey, you were bobbing your head and then you're saying like, man, this guy's...
I'm in junior high with a B+ grade.
Yeah.
Them tune that like, and that was a real life was going on with how he was telling you how niggas got caught up in the street.
Yes.
Early.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
and I've had the chance. It's funny. I've had the chance to listen to your music, and I hear a lot of I hear a lot of different influences. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about who were some of the, in terms of production, who were some of the producers that you've worked with?
Well, in this project, I worked with Spellcaster, Daredevil from NWF. Also my partner Grace Conway, and also John the Baptist. I pick certain producers. I don't like to usually go off the internet. And also Taz from Miami, Taz Beats. Those brothers gave me a great body of production to finish my project. Like the project I put out, even though I did 8, right? I had actually did 16. I did way more than 6. I did like almost 20 something, mixed and mastered. But they didn't want to put. I said, you know what? I'm gonna split it up. Volume 2 is coming out soon.
Yes.
You know, but the production that was given to me helped me. I like to mess with producers that have a vibe of their own sound. You're not trying to follow what's going on in the realm of what's going on. Even though you have to, but you set yourself apart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, excuse me, I don't, like, searching internet beats, sometimes I don't like doing that. My business partner, he actually brought me 2 beats that I can't say the producer's name. I don't know who they are. But, they were actually two beats on my project that were actually pretty fire.
Yeah, right. Happens
you know
like
mean?
that. Mm-hmm.
So you never know where you might find it. You know what I mean? But I'm thankful for having a good team of people that have been messing with me for years through this music stuff that I can go to and get great production from. And
I always like the you know, what I'm hearing you say, and I've heard that from other artists, is that, you know, you have to have an open mind when it comes to production. You don't know who the next DJ, you know, you don't know who the next Dre, who this next DJ Screw, RZA. You don't know who the next person is.
Because my partner brought me a track, right?
Yes.
And he emailed it to me, right? And I was like, what is this? Right? Listen on my phone like, So we're in the studio, and then I hear it big, like, whoa, what is that? That's that track I said that you told me you didn't like. Man, I went in there and killed it. It's one of the biggest songs on my album. But they said you never know where the vibe is going to. You have to, and I tell people all the time, and that taught me that always listen to whatever somebody sends you big. It's like, big up B.I.G. You got to say the word big. I big up B.I.G.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, always listen to everything big. Do what you do big. Don't ever go hard. Go hard at what you do.
So you talked about, you have your songs. We're going to talk about where you can find those for anybody that's listening to this. Definitely want them to be able to find your music. I've had a chance to listen to it, and again, definitely enjoyed it. Who would you like now? Who would you like to work with, man? And
Who would I like to work with?
From a production standpoint and from a maybe collaborative artist standpoint, who would you like to work with?
Ooh. Production standpoint, Swiss Beat.
Oh, ooh, fire. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like, my aggression in music, I think Swiss, especially dealing with DMX, who is a friend of mine. I love that. Big up my bad man Earl. You see me?
Yes.
But, I definitely Swiss. You know what I mean? And as far as an artist standpoint, Barris Hammond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have expected you to at some point. Actually, part of me would expect you to say that, and then I wouldn't expect you to say that because I didn't know where you were going to go with that.
Can I tell you something? You know what my dream song is?
What's that?
My dream song is me, Barris Hammond, and Drake.
Ooh, yeah. Yep. That's a good collab right there.
You hear what I tell you? Are you the first one to tell anybody that for any interview? My dream song is me, Barris Hammond, and Drake. Probably I'll speak it into existence.
Yeah, it sounds like you're speaking it into existence, man.
You see me?
So, how can those that are interested, man, in hearing your music, following your current projects and future projects, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you or to follow you?
Hey, Jamaican Tony, Volume 1. It's on YouTube. It's on iTunes. It's on every platform. Spotify. Jamaican Tony, Volume 1 is up. Every platform. My Instagram is the official Tony Hanson 5 and Real Jamaican Tony. Both of those are my Instagram. The Real Jamaican Tony.
Well, Jamaican Tony, man, thank you so much for joining the Process of Hip Hop. Best of luck to you in the future, brother, and I'm going to have you come back when you release your next project, man.
Man, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me, my brother.
Okay.
Hope you've enjoyed episode 30 of The Process of Hip Hop. Join us next week for our next episode. The Process of Hip Hop is produced and edited by me, Brian Joseph. Executive produced by Dale Harewood. Music by DJ Big Mike of Realside Records at realsiderecords.com.